Wait, let's try again.
In 1872, Yellowstone National Park was founded and has since been the gold standard. However, in the 19th century and early 20th century, the park's biodiversity fell and caused damage to the park itself. This is because there was a lack of apex predator and allowed the elk herds to grow so large that they crowded out other species like deer and moose. This is not good for the biodiversity, having one animal control all the food sources in the park, and so the park had suffered. As a Wyoming resident and avid outdoorsman, I have researched how reintroducing the gray wolf to Yellowstone National Park has provided many benefits. And as students of Wyoming's flagship university, it is important for us to know about the health of our state's greatest attraction. Today, I will tell you how reintroducing wolves to Yellowstone National Park has provided many benefits by trimming elk herds, which has allowed trees to regrow and since has made birds come back to the park. Let's begin with the most important fact. So since reintroducing in the 1990s, the wolves have trimmed the elk population, which has increased its biodiversity by allowing deer and elk and other herbivores to come back to the park. In a study done by the Department of Fish and Wildlife in 1994, elk herds had gotten so large that they were controlling the food sources in the park and made it so other species didn't have any food, so they had to relocate in order to survive. In the same study, they estimated that wolves would trim the elk population by 5 to 30%. These numbers have been proven true and has allowed, like I said, more species to come into the park. Now let's take a look at other benefits that the wolves have provided through trimming elk populations. Vegetation in the park has made a comeback, specifically cottonwood trees. Elk destroy these trees because they eat the saplings and other grasses. According to a study done by Robert Brescia and William Ripple, in the 1990s, elk population decreased their browsing, which is eating, and this thus increased the height of cottonwood saplings. This is important because the saplings were not growing to maturity because the elk were eating them before they had a chance to grow out of reach. In the same study, they go on to state that these saplings will eventually replace the overstory, which is the large trees in the park. This is important because the older trees have started to die off, whether it be beetle kill or fire or other natural causes. And since those trees are starting to die, it's not providing a healthy forest and a healthy forest floor. Now that we've talked about how the wolves benefit the vegetation, we can now talk about how birds are starting to come back into the park. With younger and healthier trees, birds are now nesting in these, whereas they will not nest in dead trees because it doesn't provide any nutrients or safety. According to Douglas Smith and others, all elk kills are visited by birds of prey, such as crows, magpies, and even eagles. These birds are scavengers and will eat off of the carcasses left behind by wolves, and this is an added food source that they have not had in the past. So this is just yet another reason for them to make a comeback to the park, which has been seen in the last 10 years or so. So now let's review what we've talked about today. I don't know if you were invested in the health of Yellowstone National Park before today. Many people are not aware of the delicate ecosystem that is Yellowstone. However, these wolves have provided many benefits by trimming the elk populations, which has allowed other herbivores to come back to the park, increasing the diversity. They have also been responsible for replacing the overstory by allowing those saplings to grow to full height, and birds making a comeback to the park because of their kills.
All right.